Let's see.
Oh man.
All right, we should be live now.
Yeah, we've been live for a minute, of course,
Okay.
just in time for me to yawn into
Yes.
the microphone. So
So I saw your book launch. I bought a copy of it. So
nice.
it looks like it's doing well. It was pretty highly ranked on Amazon. Let me see what it's doing now.
Yeah, I'm curious too.
Max Coders. Okay. Why is it not showing up? I typed in Max Coders and then it like did not.
Yeah. So
Okay. Now I typed in your name. There we go. Okay, found it. Okay. And #1 new release in job hunting. So, oh wow, 8,592 in the paid Kindle store. So that's pretty good. You've got some #1 slots there. So you're a bestseller. Look at that, #1 bestseller. Job interviewing
nice.
Kindle store.
Do I get like a cookie or something?
Well, you can now make the claim that you're a #1 Amazon #1 bestseller.
Yeah. Can I tell you what a total pain in the butt this has been?
Oh yes, I'm aware of it, but tell me.
Well, I paid somebody else to do a lot of this stuff, and they've been a total pain in the butt. So
oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. So they let's see. So they said that they initially, so let me back up. So initially I wrote it with Softcover, which is a system that was put together by Michael Hartle, who wrote the Ruby on Rails tutorial.
Yeah.
And then sorry, my iPad just fell on the floor. I don't know if you heard that. It was pretty loud. And then anyway, so you write it in Markdown and then you export it to EPUB, Mobi, PDF, and web. So it'll export it to HTML. And anyway, it just got to the point where I was trying to do all this stuff and I just wasn't getting around to it. So I paid these folks to put it up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, look, I want to change the title, so I want to change the cover and stuff like that. And they're like, oh yeah, we can totally do that for you. And so they're like, well, you have to get an image that you want us to use for the title. And so I went and got the image that's on the cover. And they put together a cover and it looked terrible.
Yeah.
Because they had put it together, it was kind of a squarish image, and so they put it in there, and then they had these big gray margins that were sort of the same color as the rest of the image above and below it.
Yep.
And I'm like, this looks terrible. And then they picked this font, and I don't know what the hell, man. It looked so bad. And so I came back to him, I'm like, no, this is totally wrong. Like, the only thing that's right about this is the title is spelled correctly, and it has the image that I picked out on it.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
And I'm like, you guys need to fix this. I'm like, the gray bars at the top just aren't working. The font is awful. And so they kept coming back. No, what about this? And I'm like, fine, I'll just do it. And so I spent like 15 minutes and I put together the cover that's on the book right now.
Wait a minute, you built that?
I made that cover.
Oh my gosh, and the professionals can't do it. This is ridiculous. Yeah.
So then they're like, okay, well now we need the full cover, right? So we can sell a paperback version of it. So we need the spine and the back cover, right?
Yeah.
So they send me the back cover, and the back cover was like, I'm not sure how they got the background for it. That was fine. But then they had these big white blocks on there that they had put my bio and the book summary in like the worst font you could pick. And I'm like,
matter a lot.
And I'm like, guys, this looks like you're rookies, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, I can do better than this. So I spent another 20 minutes, right? And I took the big white blocks out and I changed the font color so that it would stand out against the background. And, I didn't really do much beyond what they were already doing, put my picture and everything on there and send it back to them. And then they had told me that the book was going to launch for free on Tuesday and then be 99 cents on Wednesday and then go up to $2.99 on Thursday. And then what they did is they launched it for free on Tuesday and then went straight to $2.99 on Wednesday. And so I had a few people who were expecting to see it for 99 cents on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Wound up seeing it for $2.99 and they just bought it anyway. They were good sports.
Okay. Yeah. Good.
So I was like, look, I'm sorry. Like, I will send you a couple dollars. And they're like, no, whatever. Right. So that got screwed up. And then they're telling me, yeah, we're going to fix it all up so that, the paperback book comes out a week after the print book. It'll all have all these timelines, and I asked them about the Audible version. They're like, oh, we don't do that, So I'm like, okay, fine. I'll record it and I'll get it up. I'm planning on getting that up like the first or second week of December. I push that out because what that does is it allows me next week to come out and tell people, hey guys, the print version's out. Right. Yeah. And then the week after that, I'm gonna just crush it and I'm gonna put the course together and get it up. And so I'm hoping the week after Thanksgiving I can come out and I can say, look, this is launch / Cyber Monday / Black Friday pricing. Right. Get the course.
So okay, so a couple of thoughts. Well, the first thought is this, which is I offered to publish the book for you.
I know. I should have just let you do it.
Like I it's funny. Trust me.
I may let you do the next one.
Yeah. I mean, of all the experts, the so-called book publishing experts, I'm better than all of them.
Yeah.
I tried to hire, I've had to fire the guy because I was like, dude, I mean, I've only published one book and I know how to do this better than you do. And because a lot of these guys, they just don't have any fucking clue because they don't have any, I don't know. They just don't pay attention to quality, and quality matters for publishing a book. It's so important. Like a cover is the most important piece of a book, like the cover and the title. And they don't get that. So
I went to him and I basically told him, I was like, look, I get that your name is not on the book, but mine is, and I paid you.
Yeah. Yep.
And then so I go and get it on the Kindle store, right? Because I kept asking him, I'm like, look, can I see it before it goes live? So finally go get it on the Kindle store and it's got a whole bunch of formatting problems in it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And so I email them back and I'm like, guys, can you fix this? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, can I get a copy so I can fix it? Right. And they're like, yeah, here you go. And the copy they sent me didn't work. So, and then they're like, okay, well, here's the PDF we're going to publish. We're going to send up to Amazon so that they can make the print version. And that one actually looks okay. It looks fine. But I had to still go back and say, look, you still haven't fixed the formatting issues that are in the Kindle version that are going to show up in the print version.
Right, exactly, yeah.
And you still have links in the print version.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm like, you're going to print it with, blue bold underlined links in it? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, they should be in parentheses after where the links would go. You have to make the change in the print version.
So anyway, I don't even know. I mean, at this point, I've kind of figured out most of what I need to know to just do it on my own next time. And I'd like to get to the point where I can, because I plan on writing a bunch more books.
Yeah.
But this has been an utter disaster.
Well, let me know if you want to partner on it because I'm going to be publishing another book for someone else pretty soon here. Once he's done with it, he's almost done the remote work book, and then I'll be republishing Soft Skills. So I'll be definitely ramping up a team to handle all of this stuff. And
I may be totally willing to do that. It just depends on what you want for it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we could work something out. We can figure that out.
And I'm fine with percentage or with a fixed fee. I mean, whatever.
Yeah. Okay. And then, well, the other thing, so a few things here. One, the most important thing right now is that you need reviews, and I will get you a review from myself today, but they messed up there because they should have had a review campaign going on from the very beginning. On the first day of the launch, you should have had at least 50 reviews on the book. It's pretty important from verified purchases. So I just have a coaching client right now that I'm helping him launch his book. And what we've done is we've emailed his list. We've got like a couple hundred people that are part of the launch campaign, and we have email sequence for the launch campaign for those guys. They got the book
Yeah.
early, and then they're buying the book on the launch date, and they will be leaving reviews. It's so they messed up on that. That's important, but still you should send some emails to your list right now and
Yeah.
ask people, re-ask them to buy the book, and then
Mhm.
ask them if they like it to leave a review, please.
Yeah.
And then maybe you can offer some kind of incentive if they leave a review. Just be careful with it. Just, just don't make it so you're trying to buy reviews. Just, you just have to be careful with that. But you will definitely want reviews from verified purchases, because that'll make a huge difference in the
Yeah.
ranking of the book for the longevity. The other thing I'd say is, don't release the paperback a week after the Kindle. It's good that you release I think the proper order to release the book is the paperback, then the Kindle, then the audio. But it's good that you release them separately. But
Yeah.
1 week is too soon,
Okay.
because you're not really gonna be like, if you just launched the book and then now you're just sending another set of emails, it's
Yeah.
already, people are already gonna be worn out from it, and it's not gonna be as effective. One
Fair
month
enough.
later, I would say launch the paper book in a month.
Okay.
That also give you some time to make sure that to fix the cover, make sure it's really solid. I mean, you did a decent job on the cover, but I would probably go back and still try and make it a little bit better. Like, fonts do matter a lot, and you've got okay fonts, but your fonts are not the best fonts.
That's fine. I mean,
Yeah.
at this point, yeah. I mean, this is my first book, and so I didn't actually know how it would go. But I kind of expected these folks to know what the freak they were.
Yeah, they don't. But it's fine. I mean, with the print book, just get the cover fixed up, and and really just I would, if I were you, like, again, it probably won't cost you much, but go to someone who's actually a book cover designer, or just a designer, and have them just design the cover for you and
Yeah.
fix that stuff. Just
Who
to make it
designed your cover for the career guide?
I did a 99 designs competition. So
Oh, okay.
I ended up, mine was a little bit more expensive, because I paid $1,000 probably for the design competition, and then I ran multiple rounds, and then I had audience vote on it, and then I think I ran a few Facebook ads to test the cover to see which covers would be the best. But that's overkill. It's not
Yeah.
necessary. Just having a good, decent design. I mean, your design looks great. The only thing I would probably change with because I think the cover is great, is just the fonts a little bit, because they do look a little bit. It looks a little self-published with the font for some reason. I don't know. Fonts are hard. So
Yeah.
but yeah, so I would release the print book about a month later, and then
I
you
can
can
do that.
redo the launch sequence, and then the audio version a month after that. Again, it'll allow you to build hype
Yeah.
again, and to do that. And then with the audio version, one thing you're going to need to take into consideration is that it's not like you're just going to record the audio version. You're going to need to hire someone to do the editing, which I suppose, I mean, you've got a team.
Yeah.
Editing is not probably a huge issue for you.
Yeah.
But reading an audio book, like recording it, is definitely a challenge. The strategy I would use or that I use is, when you're recording it, just record, just read as best as you can, and when you mess up, just say cut, and then just retake from the beginning of the sentence or whatever. Just use the word cut over and over again. Whenever you mess up, just say cut, and then just immediately and then your editor should be able to find all the spots. But it's definitely a challenge. Like, it's not as simple as you would think. But
I do that
yeah.
on the ads that we put in.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I just stop, leave some silence,
but
and then back up to a good starting place again somewhere, and then the start or middle of the sentence.
Exactly. Yeah, a good editor can find the spot and put it all together. But yeah, it will take some time to get that, and then uploading it to Audible and everything isn't too difficult. You do need to have an intro and an outro for, like, they have some requirements for that, but but that's where you'll make the most money on the book, probably is on Audible. But
Yeah.
yeah, congratulations. I mean, the book looks good. I haven't read through the whole thing yet, but I skimmed it, and you know, yeah, this is a
Yep.
big accomplishment. So
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna leave it as is for right now,
yep.
and yeah, just focus on this other stuff. But yeah, the whole thing's just been
It's a bit of a mess. It's not as
yeah,
easy as you would
yeah.
think it is to
But
launch a book. So
yeah, the strategy on the paperback and the audiobook, I like that, and it gives me a little bit of breathing room because now I'm not so focused on that, right?
yeah,
I mean, I paid these folks, so I'm gonna keep sending them updates. Hey, this formatting's wrong. This needs to be fixed. Blah blah blah. Right. I'm
yeah.
gonna make them do it.
Out of curiosity, what did they charge you to do the book launch?
It was a couple $1,000s, I think.
Like two or
Yeah, like 2,000.
okay, that's not too bad. I mean, I would expect a little bit better of a quality
I'm
of service
still
for that
pissed.
price, but
Well, yeah,
yeah,
because I had to do the cover,
yeah, that's pretty messed up.
and I've had to go in and tell them what they screwed up. I'm like, with some of it too, like one of the formatting issues was so they exported the EPUB into Microsoft Word, and then they did the formatting. And like I said, the print formatting looks fine.
Yeah,
I don't love it, but it's fine. And so what they've done is there were reference tags in the EPUB that, so if you clicked on it, it would go to the right section or page that I was referring to. And like 2 or 3 of those were screwed up. And so it was like ~ref : LinkedIn _ section or something. And
okay,
there were like
okay.
3 or 4 of those in there. And I'm like, I thought you people edited this,
Right.
I think a spell check might have caught this, maybe. But yeah, just stuff like that. It's
Yeah.
been that's been super frustrating. But yeah, I've had just going on the Kindle KDP report. I've just kind of been looking at it, once or twice a day, just because I'm curious to see how it's doing. So the first day, I didn't tell a ton of people it was out for free, but we had 49 people pick it up for free.
Okay.
And then the second day, we had 3 people pick it up for free and 52 people buy it for $2.99.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then yesterday was 30 people bought it, and today we've had 10 people buy it. So
okay. And did you blast to your list? And
I
how big
did
was
on Wednesday. I did, and I think that's why we've seen that. I didn't follow up. Things just kind of keep coming at me. I had some issues with my kids and had to deal with that. And
okay. Yeah, they definitely did not do a great job on the launch. I mean, just to give you some comparisons of like what we did for Complete Software Developer Career Guide and the expenses of it. I mean, the print book alone, the cost of the layout and design, I think I paid $2,500 just for the print book, just for
Right.
layout. And then the cover was about $1,000 for 99 designs. And then the Kindle version, I think we paid $600 for the layout of that. And then I'm trying to see what the monthly, like what we did on launch. On launch, we sold 9,565 units, 8,185 ebook, and 1,380. But we blasted the marketing on that, so they should have really given you a better marketing campaign to really up the sales.
Yeah,
on the book, but I mean, at least you've got it out there, and
I've got it out there. The
now
other
you know
thing
too.
is if I get a book series going, the Max Coders guides,
Yeah,
I think they'll feed back into each other, and
exactly.
I can get a machine going here. I don't know that it's really going to be that lucrative having the books. I have a funny feeling, just from the feedback I've been getting from people, that the audiobook is probably where most of the money's going to come from for me.
Yeah, the audiobook for certain will be where most of the money comes from. That's definitely what I've seen with all the books that I have published. So yeah, but what was I going to say? Yeah, but I agree that like if you get a series out, and as far as the profitability of the book, I mean, it depends. Like I said, and we talked about this earlier, but when I launched the Complete Software Developer Career Guide, you know, I put 3 months into the marketing and launching
Yeah.
of the book. So because that was, and that's the, you kind of need that for that kind of result there. I mean, there's a medium in between, and then there's a super, but I don't know. It depends on, I would estimate that you could probably get somewhere between, like, if you get the audio version out, $500 to $1,000 a month on the book of profit. So, which isn't bad. I mean, that's an
Yeah.
extra revenue that
Right.
you're adding. And if you're able to do a bunch of books and make around the same amount on each one of those books, that'll add up pretty fast.
Yeah.
But again, it comes down to the thing that you need to be focusing on, which is creating more podcasts and selling sponsorship on
Yeah.
I was just listening to actually a podcast that Manny, too bad he's not here, but he sent me a podcast link from this guy that he started a automobile blog in Australia, and it became the biggest automobile blog in Australia. And then
Mhm.
he ended up exiting the company for something like $100 million
Oh, wow.
valuation on this company. And one of the things that they said in the podcast, which reminded me of you, was he's like, the host had asked him, well, what was the turning point, like where you, because you had this blog, it was worth, it was making like $500,000-600,000 a year revenue, and then you got to the point where you're making $5 million a year revenue, and then just kept on growing from there. What was the turning point? And he said, well, we hired a CEO, and the CEO said basically, guys, stop doing all this other shit. No memberships, none, no selling any other thing. All you're going to do is, we're just going to focus on producing content, as high quality, as much content as possible, and more content, and then selling advertising space on that content, and that's it. And that was the turning point. And that, when I heard that, I was like, okay, that's Chuck right there, because that's
Yeah.
the thing for your business. I'm so convinced that that's how you become a multi-million-dollar business, is just produce more content and more advertising on that content.
Yeah. The trick is that at least right now, I mean, things are really tight.
Yeah, yeah.
I've had things really, really slow down. And I'm working on it. I'm reaching out to a bunch of companies and trying to get sponsorships. We're keeping the shows running, but I mean, it's been hard to pay my team,
Yeah,
and that's been really frustrating. And I think some of it slowed down because people watched some of what went on Twitter, and then they were scared off. And then I think a lot of it's just the time of year too.
yeah.
And so, yeah, the other thing is that um, I'm kind of in this weird in between space where, for at least some of the shows, like JavaScript Jabber, for example, a company has to be willing to, or have a budget of at least a certain amount in order to even sponsor it.
Right. Yeah.
Because we're looking at more than $1,000 per episode, and so we're asking them for thousands of dollars in a month. And so yeah, we immediately go out of like the really small companies' budgets, but it's not so big that the really big companies want to sponsor it either.
Right. Yeah.
And so that's been tricky too. And I'm trying to figure out exactly how to position things. I think it's going to keep growing. So it's really just a matter of, getting some of the revenue in. And I have some people that are going to come back and sponsor over the next couple of weeks. And so if I can hang in there that long, then I'll be fine, I think. I've got one company that came to me and wanted to sponsor like 5 shows for a full year.
Yeah.
And, that would set us up to be able to pay the bills for like 4 months or something.
Well, it's weird. I'm trying to understand what's happened with your finances. Where's, like, if you're to look at your QuickBooks, I mean, you've got books now, right? Like,
Yeah.
okay. So if you look at your books, like, one of the things that I do, I've got everything broken up. Where do you see your, like,
Well, there are kind of 2 or 3 issues here, and one of them is that whenever we're not doing sponsorship outreach, things eventually slow down. And
Yeah.
I had somebody that I thought was doing the sponsorship outreach, through August, September, October, and it turned out that wasn't the case.
Right. Yeah.
She's been doing a great job on the other stuff that I've got her doing, but for whatever reason, this just didn't happen.
Yeah.
And so that's been part of the issue. I think if we had been consistent on the outreach, I would have had sponsors lined up already. The other issue is that I have spent some money on travel that hasn't quite paid off yet.
Right.
So I've made contacts at these events, but I haven't made the money back. I haven't gotten sponsors or whatever off of those yet. And then the other issue is that I also realized I went back through my books, and I've been spending dumb money on dumb stuff.
That's what I was gonna
And
ask
so
about, yeah.
I cut all the dumb money off and basically have worked out a budget, and I'm basically going to stick to that. So when we get money in, yeah, I've got to pay a few back pay things kind of thing. And then, yeah, we're just going to stick to the budget. And what we're working on at this point is I've just got to get that buffer of money in place so that we're 2 to 3 months out. And then what I'd like to do is once we're 3 months ahead, then if we get down to 2 months ahead, then, the sponsorship engine, which isn't going to stop ever again, is going to kick into overdrive.
Yeah.
And we're just going to go until we fill stuff back up.
Okay. So a couple of questions here. Well, one thing I'll tell you first of all, which I think we talked about a little bit before, but one thing I do with Simple Programmer is I have a reserve always a 50K war chest. I never allow that to go below 50K. Since Josh left, I had to give him half of that, so it went below 50K. But I'm almost back up to 50K, and then I'll never take money out. Just so that it's
and 50K. If we're talking 3 months, we're talking somewhere between 60 and 80K.
Of your run rate. So
yeah,
the big question is, why is your run rate so well? One, what is your gross average monthly income on the business, and what is your run rate, and why is the run rate so high?
So most of the run rate is paying people. So and I'm the biggest chunk of that, to be honest.
Okay, because you're paying yourself.
Yes.
From it, which is accurate. I mean, I count my pay in the business as well. But what are you looking at gross revenue averaged over the month, over the months, like over the year?
Right now we're sitting at about 25,000-30,000 a month.
Okay. So yeah, so after you take out your salary, that is a big chunk. And then how many people do you have on payroll besides yourself?
Everyone's part-time except for one. And yeah, the people that, so I've got Michelle, who's the production manager.
Yeah.
And she's pretty much full-time. I've got 2 editors, and I mean, across 18 shows, they spend a good deal of time working for me. And then and I think Stefan was more or less full-time.
Yeah.
My other editor, I'm not going to say his name just because his situation's kind of weird, but
Okay,
the company he was working for just got shut down. So I'm trying to balance work that way.
What kind of rates are you paying these people? I mean, don't tell me specifically, because we don't want tied to a person, but in general, what kind of hourly rates are you paying them?
I'm not paying them hourly rates. I'm paying them a fixed rate per episode.
I wonder how that comes out to hourly.
If I had to guess, it probably comes out to about $25-$30 an hour.
You might be better off instead of having all these part-time people, full-time, especially for the editors, right? Because
Yeah.
if you have, like, it might be better to consolidate. We're gonna get into trouble here now, because now I'm
Yeah,
gonna
you're
get,
telling me
now
to
people
fire
are gonna,
somebody.
yeah, I can't tell you to fire someone, right? It must be libel if I tell you to fire someone uh for a business decision. But honestly, I think having full-time people is better than having part-time people. At
All
least that's
right.
what I've discovered in the business.
But the issue that I have there is that I don't really want to have to worry about doing actual payroll for anybody, if that makes sense, as a W-2.
Yeah, so you don't technically have to do payroll. Well, are you on payroll yourself? Are
Yes.
you okay? So you can, well, the ideal structure is to have an S corp
Yes.
that an S corp that owns an LLC that is your business, and you
Okay.
pay yourself from the payroll from the S corp, and then you don't have a payroll for the other
The
business,
LLC.
the LLC. It's not super critical that you set it up that way, but even if you have someone full time, they can still be an independent contractor that has a consulting service, right? Especially if they have a
Yeah.
corp and you can do corp to corp billing, and they're editing, their responsibility, they're basically, you're outsourcing the editing services to them. So even though they're quote full time, they're not quote full time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
but you can just pay them as an hourly, fixed rate employee, that essentially, or I mean contractor, but you know, it's it's kind of a blurry line. But when you're really just giving it to them and telling them, okay, you need to do this work,
Yeah.
and then they decide how they're going to do it, as far as, I'm no legal expert, but that's contractor to me. And then if they're out of the country, then they're absolutely a contractor.
Yeah. So
And
I've got one guy that's out of the country,
mhm,
and then I've got another guy that is here in Salt Lake City, and he's the one that just lost his job. The guy that's not in the US, he's much more of an audio editing expert. The guy that's in Salt Lake is more of a video editing expert.
yeah. Either way, the reason why, like, I think you can get around not having to put someone on an actual payroll. I think that's fine. I don't think
Yeah.
that you have to worry about that. But the reason why to have the full time is just because you get better work out of someone, and they're more dedicated, and typically they end up costing less because you're their you're their prime source of
Right.
income, their only source of income, really. They're working for you, so you get a better, um, you know you just get a better overall work out of them. But that
Yeah, I
might
can
reduce
see
your
that.
costs some as well.
Yeah, maybe.
um, because, yeah, I'm trying to think how much, you know, yeah. And what about the people that are like in non-editing roles? What kind of range are you paying
So
them on an
I've
hourly?
got social media person. I pay her $15 an hour,
Yeah.
and then she gets a ton done for what I pay her.
Oh, good. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, that's not really an issue. And yeah, she's not in the US either, so that's also, as far as contracting and stuff. And then I've got two people that do the show notes, and I just pay them $15 an episode, and they do the show notes and
Okay.
post
That's
it to, so they post it to the website. They post it to, I think, do they post? Yeah, they post it to social media, or they schedule it to go out on social media. They schedule it to go out on the push notifications. Um, they do some of this SEO work because I've shown them how to do that, and I get all that for $15.
okay. That's not too bad. I mean, but you do a lot of episodes, so that,
Yeah, it
how
does add
much
up.
how much does that cost you per month on average?
Uh, yeah, that's the other thing I'm trying to figure out is how do I break it down? Do I break it down by role, or do I break it down by show, or do I break it down by something else? It might be interesting to see it both ways, I guess. How much am I paying for show notes, and how much am I paying per show?
Yeah,
Um,
that would be actually probably some good metrics to look
and
at.
do the same thing for revenue, right?
Yeah.
So it's revenue per show and revenue per. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, so they're, we release 15 or so episodes a week, so it's probably $1,000 a month.
Okay, that's not too bad. I mean, it's like these little things that are dinging you. Definitely, the travel was probably just not a good
Yeah,
return.
the travel was not a good return. I paid these people to do the book launch, and
Yeah.
I paid for a couple of other things that were just dumb things to pay for. So
What about your fill rate on your show? Like you've got so much, you know,
yeah.
what do you call it? Media. What percentage of your ad space is full?
So on the bigger shows or the more popular shows, I'm probably 2/3 to 3/4 full. It's the smaller shows aren't making any money, and so I cut them back to every other week just to keep them alive, but not.
Yeah, because they have to eventually grow. I mean, those are your
I've
incubation.
thought about putting up like a buy me a coffee for those and just let people know, hey, look, we've cut this back to every other week, and if you want it to produce every week, then you've got to cover. We need help covering the
Yeah.
production costs until they go live, and then once they go live, or once it's covered, or if we find a sponsor, then the buy me a coffee money, I'm thinking I'm just going to split it 50-50 with the hosts based on how often they show up.
Yeah.
Because then it's just money from the audience that's going to the people involved in the show.
Yeah. I think that's fine. I would just be. It might create problems later on if you're trying to put ads in the show, and then there's not buy me coffee money, and then you've got the hosts. So I might avoid it for that reason.
Yeah.
But I mean, you've got the inventory that you can sell with the same
Yeah.
staff that you have now. So you could probably raise your
Yeah.
monthly revenue by 10K a month. And if you do that, then you'll have plenty of clearance, plenty of room
Yeah.
to
The issue mostly just boils down to I usually get most of the revenue to run basically a month or so before the quarter starts.
Yeah.
And so I was looking for revenue to run now to come in last week, and it didn't. And so, that's when things really kind of started to pinch.
Yeah. No.
And it was because this one sponsor didn't renew, and they're trying to make their marketing plan, and I get it. So, I can't blame them, but that's the situation I wind up in. So
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, that's why you need that reserve. Once you have a reserve,
yes, once
if
I
you've
have the
got
reserve, then it's not
then
an issue.
yeah, and you just keep that reserve, and then you'd be fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, it sounds like to me that if you just need to focus on filling sponsorship slots.
Yeah, I think so
That's
too. I've got a couple of, like, I'm talking to one company next Wednesday. I've got a couple of other calls next week, which is kind of crazy because it's the week of Thanksgiving, and usually I can't get anyone to book anything that week.
Well, a lot of people also, they're like they have their end of year budget. They need to finish spending their money. So
yeah,
it's probably a good time to.
I've had a few also come to me and say, look, we're making these decisions the first week of December.
Yeah.
And so that's the other thing that I'm saying is here, if I can hang in there till the first week of December, then I can get these invoices out, and people are pretty good about paying them pretty fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then we're looking good that way. But yeah, what I'm aiming for essentially is just to get an extra 10 to 15K in the bank every month, if at all possible. And that means mostly that I just have to sell more spots. And if I can do that for a few months, then I'll be sitting at that 50 to 60K. And then even if I'm not counting my own salary, then that's more than enough to cover us for a few months, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so then we can kind of squeak by on whatever's left, if things, don't pick up for 3 months, which it's never done that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That, I mean, that's the thing. It's just having that reserve to be able to. And if you just focus, I mean, you honestly, you just got to cut all the other shit. You got to only sell sponsorship slots right now. You got to focus your entire efforts on that until you get to a point where you're at like 90%. Like I would say, just my opinion, but two things I would do if I were you is one, just focus, stop doing anything else that isn't selling sponsorship ads until you're at like a 90% fill rate. Like 90%,
Yeah,
I think is because that will, I mean, that's like probably if you can do that, you're probably looking at an extra 15K a month, I would
at
guess,
least.
right? Maybe even more. So, and then the second thing I would do is while I'm doing that, developing a fucking solid bulletproof process for how you're doing this so that you could train someone in, or even
Yeah.
if you bring someone on right now to just shadow you while you're doing this, like you can't, the mistake you made, I think what just happened was that you basically tried to hire someone and have them do this work
Uh-huh.
instead of training them how to do the work, right? Like I think you need to bring someone on, not assume that they can sell anything or not assume that they can, maybe they have some sales experience, but then just have them just
Yeah.
shadow you. Like you work with them, you're on calls, they're on the call listening to you.
Hmm.
You're giving them the exact process. This is how I find the
Right.
sponsors. This is how I contact them. This is how I sell them. And
Yeah.
they get that experience. And then you have some calls where you're on the call with them and they're leading the call. And just, I mean, it's going to be a painful process, but that's the thing. Like once you can get that going, then I like until you have that going, in my opinion, your job is just to sell sponsorships and do nothing else.
Yeah, the what I had hired somebody to do was just to do the initial outreach, right? So it's, hey, go find me companies, um, which I think it's just harder than I thought it was, just to
Yeah.
even find companies that are good candidates for sponsors. And then at least for somebody that's not in the programming space, just to understand how it all, who to talk to and how to reach out to them. But yeah, that's what I was hiring her to do. And then what I was looking at was, okay, then we'll line up some sponsor calls and I'll do the calls and I'll sell the sponsorships. But yeah, the other thing is if I can get it to a 90-95% fill rate,
Yeah.
then I can come back to those folks every month and say, okay, here's what we did, here are the results, and stuff like that. I've had a couple. The other thing that's bothering me a bit is that I've had a couple of sponsors that have sponsored for like 3 or 4 weeks and haven't gotten a good um, ROI. And it's basically that they, I mean, in my experience, you have to sponsor for like 6 to 8 weeks to get a good ROI. So they
Yeah.
sponsor for 4 weeks or 5 weeks. And and then they're like, well, we didn't have a lot of people use our coupon code or whatever. And I, I don't know how to answer that because on the one hand, um, and I tell them this up front. I'm like, look, you got to do like 6 episodes at least,
Yeah.
and then they're like, well, we can only afford 4. And I'm like, all right, well, we can try it. And then when it fails, then it's my fault that it failed. And it is kind of my fault that it failed, but I don't know what to do for them.
Yeah. I mean, you can't, I don't know. I think you just have to cycle through those people. For one,
Yeah.
if they're like, oh, we can only afford this, then that's just a bad sign anyway, right? Because
Yeah.
if they don't have the budget to,
Yeah.
then
Or
there's,
sometimes they're just not willing to, right?
yeah. In which case you've told them what is necessary to set them up for
Yeah.
success. They haven't listened. Some of those people will have success anyway, just because they get lucky or
Yeah.
they
We've had
have
a
a,
few of those.
and those will be people that will stick with you and those will be your best ones. But I think in the sponsorship game, you're just going to have a lot of turnover and then eventually you're going to get good people, good sponsors that stick. And sometimes, you'll land those big fish that have huge advertising budgets that
Yeah.
they don't even care and they're doing it more for the brand recognition. And those are probably your best
They are,
advertisers,
because
right?
the brand recognition folks are the ones that really get the payoff.
Yeah. Yeah. It just takes a
Because,
long time and they're,
yeah,
yeah,
because people hear them week in and week out, right?
exactly.
So,
So Yeah. I need to get some, I think I lost the sponsors for Simple Programmer for the newsletter. It was just a mess. They're paying like, I had an invoice from July and I bugged them about it and then they got all offended that so I was like, you know what, guys, like I'm freezing your ads. Like you have an invoice from July until that's paid. And so they paid it eventually, but now
Yeah.
I've got to, but I don't really want to do so much sponsorship. I've got a guy now that's doing the affiliate deals for Simple Programmer. So we're going to do a Black Friday and that looks pretty good.
Yeah, I think I might go fill some of my spots too with affiliates and see if I can get that. The issue with affiliates though is that they have to use my affiliate link.
Yeah.
If I mention, some company, some product, let's say that it's Interview Cake, because I know you guys did a bunch of stuff with them. Let's say I mentioned Interview Cake on the podcast and tell them to go, devchat.tv/interview cake. A lot of people are just going to go to interviewcake.com and buy it direct.
Well, you have something now that's valuable, which is you can say, hey, I'll give you a free copy of my book.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So that's how always have to, like, if you do it like that with an affiliate deal, you always have to have some kind of bonus that they have to use your code to.
Oh, that
to
makes
get.
sense.
Yeah. This way you can ensure that they do it. But
And I'm assuming Interview Cake, I could just talk to them and just say, hey, look, I'm offering people a copy of my book if they sign up for Interview Cake with my affiliate link. So,
yeah.
If I send you an email, can you validate that they signed up, or does it come through on the report, or I don't know.
Or even if you can give them, I mean, ideally they would have a landing page where they can get the book when they sign up.
Yeah. Oh, that's true.
That would be ideal. They might not do that for you until you've actually pushed them a lot of sales.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't do that for someone unless they push me a lot of sales already. But what you can do is you can just,
I could set up my own landing page though.
yeah, and you can have it so that exactly you set up your own landing page, and when they click it through there, then you have instructions on the landing page saying once you sign up, click this link to sign up. Step 1, as soon as you sign up, email me the receipt. Step 2,
Yeah.
bam, I send you the book. And that's a solid way to do it. And you could use that pattern for a different affiliate deals that you want. So
no, that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah, I like it.
Cool.
Because I could do that on a bunch of those.
Yeah.
Get them through.
So I've been having some pretty good success with growing the Bulldog Mindset membership.
Nice.
I'm sitting at 237 paying members now. So the MRR on it is over $6,000 now. So it's been going pretty good. But I've been investing a lot now. I've got a full-time copywriter, and he's expensive. He's like $40 an hour. But
yeah.
I think it's well worth it. He's good. He's really good, and he's been writing a lot of emails and redesigned the entire sales page and whatnot. And then I've been paying for some Facebook and YouTube ads. I've got 2 guys that are running that, so I'm kind of investing there. I still don't know if that's going to work out, but I'm giving it a shot. But we'll see. It looks like it's doing pretty good. What's funny is actually the biggest revenue that I make now in all the businesses is coaching. I'm doing around $15,000 a month in coaching.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because I have about I've got 10 coaching clients now that monthly coaching clients. So I had him send out some emails for that too, and I picked up another client or two. So coaching is working out pretty well. So yeah, so it's funny. So Bulldog Mindset is almost making more money than Simple Programmer now. It's
nice.
Like getting close to that. But
yeah, part of me keeps going to that place too, where, I think about coaching or I see your membership or things like that. And, when the money's tight, I want to go and I want to run off and do all those other things. Cause if I open up a membership site and I get a certain number of people to sign up, that's where my brain goes, right? It's, oh, well, that would be a few $1,000s and I could pay these people or pay these things or whatever. And yeah, it's
but
just, yeah.
The thing for you though, like the reason why I don't think that's a good strategy for you is because you already have like the thing that makes you the most money is sponsorships.
Well, the other thing is if we're really getting if we're talking seriously about it, most people are going to be setting up their marketing budgets for 2020
Yeah.
within the next few weeks because
Yeah.
they're going to want to get it done before Christmas.
And ultimately like your whole like
And
your
so if I can
exit,
hit them now,
yeah.
now's the time.
And your exit strategy for your business really should be a buyout of like a multi-million-dollar buyout because you're creating a media network. It is
Yeah.
completely valuable, right? Like if I were trying to sell a simple programmer, it's pretty damn hard. Like there's some revenue engines in there, you know, the book revenue, there's some things I've removed myself to some degree from it, but it's really hard to sell the value of that. There's some courses, right? There's not a clear,
Yeah.
even and especially Bulldog Mindset. I can't sell Bulldog Mindset at all because it requires me to make YouTube videos. It's a membership where I'm creating content
Right.
in there, right? For you, so I don't have any really like I just have to generate revenue in as many ways as possible because there's no buyout for me
Right.
really. At least I'd have to do some major restructuring. For you though, if someone were to just like you take over your entire podcast network, buy it like a media company, bam,
Mhm.
that's just like a complete easy move for them to do. You have
Yeah.
all the systems in place. They can it's turnkey, right? It's they can
Mostly,
live
yeah.
you know like it doesn't require you it you know what I mean,
Yeah.
like you can be replaced from the business, right?
Yeah.
Whereas I can't be replaced from the business. And so that's really like someone would pay you multiple, you know, multiple $1 million figures for the business, especially as you continue to grow it. And but yeah, but I mean your easiest way to make money is just to generate
Yeah.
more ad revenue, right? Just get more sponsors and build more podcasts. So
Yep. I'm on a call, sweetheart.
Mommy need to tell you something.
Okay. Can I talk to her in a little bit?
Yeah. She's in the bathroom.
Okay. Go on out of here.
cute.
Looks like my wife just got home
Okay.
from the school. But anyway.
But yeah, no, I mean,
Yeah. I think that's what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna buckle down. I have figured out that if I tell my social media person, you know, who's also supposed to be helping me with the sponsorship stuff, if I give her a list of companies, she'll get them added to the pipeline, like at the
Yeah.
top of the pipeline. And she can also go and find the marketing people on you know, through the process that I've taught her to do that. The rest of it though, as far as the outreach and things, I'm finding out that I kind of have to tailor it and she doesn't have the expertise to do that.
yeah, yeah,
And so that's where I'm at this point. And so I would either have to bring somebody in that has the sales chops and the tech chops, or I would have to bring somebody in that has the sales chops and teach them the ropes on some of the tech stuff, or vice versa.
yeah. And it'd be easier for you than for someone that has the sales shops for you to teach them the technical part because it's a more difficult skill of
Yeah.
sales, right? That's
Yeah,
like
I can teach them the lingo and help them identify, okay, this is what this is, or this is how you figure out, right? We talk about TensorFlow. What is TensorFlow? Well, go Google it, right?
yeah, exactly. You can show them how. Yeah.
Yeah.
The big thing, I mean, what I would say is that you need to just focus on you filling out to 90% fill rate on your ads
Yeah.
before you even bring someone, because you don't have enough overhead right now to be able to bring someone on, because you have to pay them something while they're shadowing you. Like
Yeah.
no one's just gonna, so you need to do that. And then that's gonna, you know, make the biggest difference
Yeah.
and get that system in place. Oh, here's the other thing that you should do that I think is you can use right now the ad space that you don't have filled to do the affiliate stuff, yes, but
Yeah.
advertise some of your other podcasts on it
Yeah. That's what
because
we've been doing.
okay, because you got to grow those other audiences, and that's going to be key because
Yeah.
you know later on, if you can get some of those, you can get another podcast to grow to be a big podcast, that'll be a big money maker for you. So
Yeah. One other thing that I figured out as far as reaching companies and things like that is that if I do content with some of these folks,
Mhm.
then that also tends to work out pretty nicely.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Where you have them on the podcast or
Yeah, and so I think I'm going to rework Sustain Our Software.
yeah.
Since they went and formed their own show, and I'm gonna just go to some of these companies and say, hey, look, you've got a director of open source, right? Can I get them on the show and talk to them? And then they tend to work in the circles of the people who make the other budget decisions. And so then I can kind of make things go that way.
Yeah. Yep. That makes sense. Cool. All right. I guess we should probably wrap this up and do our thoughts for the week.
Yeah. But one thing I'm also just going to throw at you is that, I'm hoping that I can check in later today. I'll just send you a text or something. And essentially I'm going to be updating the sponsors page on devchat.tv. I went and looked at a couple of other podcast networks and saw what they were doing, and I kind of like their approach. And so I'm going to rework that, because then I can just send people to that page instead of trying to get them the media kit or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, the thing that I'm really going to be texting you about is I reached out to X number of companies, and I'm planning on reaching out to at least 30 companies today.
Good. Yeah. Yeah.
And just knock it out that way. And then if I can do that, because I have a bunch on my list already. If I can get to 30, then what I'll do is I'll go find other lists of sponsors. I have different ways of finding them. I'll just throw them at this person that, can do at least the initial setup and say, look, I've dropped a bunch more companies in the prospects list. Go do go find their marketing people and attach them so that I can reach out to them on Monday.
Yep. Make sure, I don't know if you're doing it already, but I would highlight when you reach out to these companies, whatever the biggest sponsors that you currently have, like well-known companies that are sponsoring you right now, because that's going to make them be much more likely to respond to you.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, it makes sense to me, because that's one thing. Like, I would think if I'm looking in, like, oh, you already have, this other big company, you have IBM sponsoring you. Okay, you must be serious, or whatever. Company. I don't want to say names here because we should not say names of companies on this podcast. Apparently,
well, we can't say names of anybody on this podcast.
Yes. Hi, Cher. How's it going? Hope you're enjoying stalking me. So anyway, all right, we should do our thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me see.
So for me, I think the thought just comes down to what you were talking about there, where it's kind of two parts. One is don't get desperate, right? Because it hurts to be in this financial spot right now. But don't get desperate. And the other part of that is focus on the one thing.
Let's see. Yeah, I'll go a different route with mine. I'll say, like, don't underestimate the power of momentum and resetting your momentum, like what I call resetting the high water mark. So I had been not so good on my diet and started to gain some weight. And it's just hard to break out of that. I kept on trying to and then finally what I did on Sunday is, like, Saturday, my last meal, and I decided to do a 3-day fast. So I fasted all Sunday, all Monday, all Tuesday, and then broke the fast on Wednesday morning. And it was tough to do, but it was like a reset. So, I ate on Wednesday, and then actually I fasted all day Thursday, and I haven't eaten yet. I'll eat tonight for dinner. So I'm going to start doing an every other day fast now. But this was so much easier now that I'd broken that, had done that 3-day, reset and got the momentum back. Now I'm in the positive momentum, right? Because I've got all this progress. I lost all this weight in a short period of time, and I am making progress. And so now my whole mindset is like shifted. Whereas before I was like in this guilty beat yourself, like the worst mindset you could possibly be is in the downward spiral of shame, where
Yeah.
you feel bad about yourself and you feel guilty. And so you do more destructive behavior because of
Mhm.
that, because that's the only thing that makes you feel good. And then you just keep on spiraling down, and that's negative momentum. And so now I'm in positive momentum, because now I'm like, oh damn,
Yep.
you just did a 3-day fast and you're on.
When
you're
you
making
fast, what
progress.
do you drink? Or do you drink?
So I did for the first 2 days, or really day and a half, almost 2 days of the fast. This time I did a dry fast, no water,
Uh-huh.
which wasn't as hard as I thought. It was fine. I ended up on Sunday I had no water. On Monday I had no water until around the evening when I was at the gym, and I was like, okay, I should probably drink something at this point. But then when I do the fast, typically I'll maybe have either coffee, or like I'll occasionally have like a diet soda if I'm
Uh-huh.
doing like a strict fast, because it doesn't matter. There's no calories, right? Just anything
Right.
that's no calories. So
Okay.
yeah, but it's good. It's good, to kick it off for a few days, and then you feel good. You're hungry like for the first couple of days, but after that, you start to feel fine. So
Yeah. I'm seriously tempted because I've been trying to get back on the keto wagon and I've been doing okay, but then I slip up. And I make excuses for it. And so yeah.
well,
Um,
if you fast for 2 days, you'll be in ketosis.
yeah.
So
And that's kind of what I'm thinking, is that I may just fast.
yeah, it takes longer if you just went and just started eating keto for like it would take about a week before you really
Yeah.
get into ketosis. But if you fast for 2 days, you're automatically there pretty much. So
Makes sense.
yeah. All right, man. Well, congrats on the book again. And yeah, well, I guess I think I should be around next week. Or I guess next week's
Next week is Black Friday.
yeah, okay. Yeah, well, we'll see. Hopefully we can get a call together.
Yep.
All right. Take care.
Yep. Bye.